welcome to this special edition of the International Climate Webinar Series Industry Blitz. I am Salima Eber-Steven, and today we are diving straight to the core of one of the most difficult challenges in the green transition, decarbonizing heavy-duty transportation. Joining me from Australia is Ben Hutt, CEO of Janus Electric. Ben is a leader known for commercialization of high-impact innovation, and at Janus, he is proving that we don't have to wait decades to electrify the heavy haulage sector. Through their patent exchangeable battery technology, Janus has turned a multi-hour charging problem into 4-minute battery swap, effectively eliminating downtime for fleet operators. By combining this with battery as a service model, they are transforming the financial landscape for truck retrofitting and fleet electrification. Ben, it's a pleasure to have you here to discuss the scalability of battery swapping and Janus Electric strategic expansion into the North American market. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Ben, Janus Electric states a 4 minutes the introduction, 4-minute battery swap, faster than diesel refueling. How is mechanical reliability and safety maintenance across thousands of swaps in tough fleet conditions happening?
It's pretty easy. Like, we thought really early on that batteries degrade if they're charged really fast, and trucks sitting still for a long time is a bad idea because it's expensive and it takes up lots of real estate. And we also know enough about electricity to know that the grid infrastructure around the world is not always capable of the 20 megawatt charging that we see fast charging in places like China. So we developed battery swapping as our solution for heavy transport. Effectively, on a Class 8 prime mover, where the fuel tanks are on either side of the truck, we fit very large batteries, and those batteries deliver approximately 450 kilometers or 300 miles of range with a 60 or 70 ton load. And so the idea is the truck pulls in next to the charging station. It's like currently it's a forklift operator, or the driver in most cases in our customer base will just forklift the batteries off the truck onto the charge station, effectively swap the pairs of batteries, and that takes 3 or 4 minutes. It's really easy. And then they just drive off, and the batteries sit in the charge station and charge for over 3 to 4 hours. So they're trickle charging and balancing, which is really good for the batteries. And so we see it as a win-win for everyone.
Thank you. Let's continue talking about your technology and the battery. How does your patent exchange system help fleet operator boost energy density without replacing the whole drivetrain in your system?
The beautiful thing about our technology is the batteries are decoupled from the truck. So with the swappable batteries, effectively we could switch the chemistry in those batteries during the life of the truck, and it wouldn't matter to the truck or influence the behavior of the truck. It would only improve the power density available to the truck. So for us, we've decoupled the drivetrain and all of the mechatronics and the clever things that make the electric truck an electric truck from the batteries. And so we can change that chemistry out over the next 5, 10, or 15 years as the chemistry evolves. And certainly we're very much at the forefront of battery chemistry and all of the things that are important for batteries driving big, heavy trucks.
As a battery as a service, transform heavy-duty electrification by converting a significant upfront investment into a manageable operational expense. In Janus, how do you do that? And can you explain?
Absolutely. One of the barriers to electrifying heavy transport is, as you said, the capital cost of buying an electric truck or converting an electric truck to converting a diesel truck to electric. So for us, we decouple those two things. So converting the truck from diesel to electric is effectively the same cost as replacing the diesel engine, which is something that happens in a truck typically after 5 years of its life. So that's cost neutral for the fleet operator. But batteries, as you know, they can be quite expensive. And so what we have developed and rolled out in Australia, and we'll be rolling out in North America, is effectively a battery as a service model, where the batteries are owned by us or by infrastructure partners or by other customers. So customers who are happy hosting batteries and want to generate a high energy revenue from the use of those batteries. And so effectively the truck or the fleet operator pays for the energy they use from those batteries. They don't have to deploy capital on the batteries upfront. So we know that the total cost of ownership over the life of an electric truck is much lower than a diesel truck. But what we've done is we've further improved that by making it an operational expense that's in line or cheaper than running diesel, and effectively the fleet operator doesn't have to deploy all the capital required to own that battery or face the depreciation risk of the battery declining in value or declining in performance or degrading in the way that it does if it's coupled to a fully electric truck.
After your success of your technology in Australia, coming to the US market, with recent CARB approval in California and initial export kits arriving at the port of Los Angeles, congratulations, by the way, what is
Thank
the
you.
strategic importance of the US drayage market for Janus Electric growth in North America?
North America has always been a major focus for us. It's a massive market and it provides a very good opportunity for Janus to scale and make a real impact. And the Californian CARB approval is quite significant from us because it validates that the technology is effectively one of the few pathways for a fleet to decarbonize or go zero emissions with its heavy trucks. And as we've talked about before, it's much less expensive for them to convert a diesel truck that's halfway through its life to electric and that truck live the rest of its life electric than it is to buy a new electric truck and then face all the costs and risks that go with that. So for us, our first CARB vouchers have been processed, and that effectively means that that scheme is paying for 80% of the cost to convert the truck. And then we are working with other partners in and around the Port of Long Beach to deploy charging infrastructure, which we expect to be in place before the end of June. And we'll have those trucks and the first beginnings of our North American fleets operational before the end of June. And excitingly for us, there's 26,000 trucks in and around that port and the Port of Long Beach by itself. And to give you some sense of scale for us, in Australia, there's 140,000 of these Class 8 trucks in totality across the continent. And so that to have 26,000 trucks in one area, in an area that is effectively being subsidized to go green, is very helpful for us and it's very important, and it becomes a very significant focus for our business.
Congratulations for looking forward to see the result in June. Ben, you talked about global scalability. I know that you have some vision to develop also in Africa. And regarding this, how the Janus swapping model navigates poor grid quality if you are looking to a global EV expansion?
It's a good question. So there's many parts of the world where there's lots of diesel trucks and transportation is very critical to moving food and fuel and other things around the country. Not all of these countries have the grid infrastructure that would be required to develop like full, rapid, fast charging, 20 megawatt charging of electric trucks. So the first example of that was sub-Saharan or South Africa, where there's a very large opportunity. There's also very expensive diesel theft. The grid infrastructure is not very good, and the rail infrastructure is also not very good. So diesel trucking is critically important. And because the Janus batteries charge slowly and sit still for 3 to 4 hours while they're charging, often co-located with renewable energy generation sources, we don't need a robust grid to do that. So that's the first point. I will also say that we are involved in discussions with similar counterparties and similar concepts in 7 or 8 other countries around the world. So we do believe that battery swapping and the Janus platform and the conversion of trucks midway through their lives really can form a meaningful piece of the overall electrification and decarbonization of this sector.
Financially, how much capital does a fleet save by retrofitting a 5-year-old versus buying a brand new electric truck? Things that you do.
Well, that depends. There's lots of variables in that, like how many miles or kilometers do they drive? What's the diesel price that they're comparing against? How much do they pay for energy? So it's hard to answer that specifically, but there is a handy calculator on the januselectric.com website where fleet operators can effectively go through those calculations themselves, helped by our kind of handy helper and evidence. But overall, it is significantly cheaper. So in Australia, when diesel prices were still $1.80 a litre, and they're now just above $3 for our crisis in the Middle East, it was upwards of 30% cheaper because there's zero maintenance, there's no moving parts, and the energy efficiency in electricity being converted to power is much, much greater than it is converting diesel to power. It's cheaper, and what we've done is we've reduced the upfront capital burden that comes with buying a new electric truck, which is typically 4 or 5 times more expensive than converting a truck with Janus. So we're trying to make it a no-brainer for everyone, and it's obviously very helpful where there is government support for electrification to stimulate that. So California is a good example of that. Canada is a good example of that. New Zealand, The UK also just launched a £1 billion fund to stimulate this sector. So the stimulus is coming, which should make it really easy for people. And we're ready and able with technology to support this.
Exactly. Here come my question. If a Janus converted truck can survive the Sydney to Brisbane run, what does you can say to skeptical in North America or Europe, or specifically in the room during the sixth workshop in DC? Our leaders will be in the room, and I'm sure they will have this question.
Yeah, so we've had 25 of these trucks driving around the harsh conditions of Australia, as you said, in different use cases. So everything from logging to ports to mine sites to cement trucks to food deliveries. Like, we know the technology works and it's reliable and it's efficient. And so the conditions in North America are much less unfriendly than it is in Australia. Like, we're famous for our dangerous animals, but it gets pretty hot and it's very dusty. And so we know that this will work, and we're very excited to partner with fleet operators and energy infrastructure providers in North America to deploy this technology and really increase the level of zero emissions heavy transport that there is all around the world. But our key focus right now is North America.
Our time is up, but I still have two questions. I'm going to go over the budget here. For a driver, it's always a better experience to be in an electric truck and a Janus experience as well. Ben, do you have ever personally swapped a battery? And what is your impression? Is it a Formula One or high-tech Lego set?
The experience of driving an electric truck is there's no vibration, it's quieter, there's no temperature, there's no diesel fumes. And so what we see is that the drivers of our trucks, they basically will never drive a diesel truck again. We think it's better for the driver, better for the family, better for the fleet operator. We think in the medium term, insurance premiums should come down and drivers should be happier, healthier, less tired at the end of the day. And hopefully there should be less accidents. It should be safer.
Great. Talking about future, looking ahead, do you have any breakthrough innovation either in your core technology or commercial strategy for 2027 and beyond that you want to share with us?
I think this year for us is all about putting our flags in the ground and partnering with the right people in key geographies. And it wouldn't surprise me to see quite a significant presence from Janus in North America and Canada next year. We're actively working on lots of things. The technology is stable, although obviously we continue to develop everything we do. And we're partnering with some very exciting people all around the world. And we're excited to be working with you in North America. So thank you for your help and thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much for your time, and it's a great introduction for our workshop on April 30 at Washington, D.C. To all our network and audience, thank you for watching this interview that will be aired on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on our website. Ben, have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we will see you in person next time and talk about this technology success in California.
Thank you. Happy to do that. Appreciate your help.
Thank you.